if at the back of your mind, or if maybe you feel like, well, as long as I train jujitsu, I can defend myself. And then you get into a situation where you're put on your back, or you're put in a position
In a
and
real
your
street
body,
fight.
yes, and then your body instinctively starts to do what it would naturally do in a tournament.
Yep.
That's a rude wake-up call. So a friend of mine, one of my best mates, as I like to call him, his name's Stewie Molden. He's based down in Bendigo in Australia. He shared with me a story about a weapons expert, a guy who's brilliant with gun disarms.
I
And
know the story. I was going to share it with you.
about how he disarmed the gun and gave the gun back.
Like 3 times. Yeah. Gave it back to him like 3 times. Yeah.
That's my point. That he practices that way. So when he's actually assaulted and the perpetrator pulls a gun on him, he does the gun disarm, but then starts to hand the gun back
because
to
that's the way he trained. Yep.
Yeah. So I look at jujitsu that way. It's like, as long as, and I always tell people, look, do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this for yourself. But for me, because I always feel like, there is an obligation that I have, that I want to make sure the students understand. I don't teach the student my jujitsu. I teach them jujitsu, and then they kind of make it their own.
Yeah.
So I have some students that are like, I want to learn how to do, the leg drag, or I want to learn how to do this or do that. And I'm like, okay, these are the tournament, kind of tournament style moves. And then, we might branch off into something else, and they'll ask me, they're like, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And I give them the answer that I gave you. It's never about, it's not, this is bad or this is wrong. No, it's just understand it where it fits into the art, and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
But you just have to, that
mindful, yeah.
Yes.
So I agree with that. I think that some of that stuff that I see out there is like amazing. Like I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? But for me, I'm very much a practical person. And I think because part of that is that the way I schedule my life, I don't have a lot of time for other stuff. I want to just get the meat and potatoes in, you know what I mean? So I really just want to train more like self-defense. I don't care about the tournaments and stuff like that. That's great. If you want to do it, like you said, I'm all for it. It's just not for me. Some of the stuff that I see guys do, I'm like, man, I hope you won't do that in a real fight, because I know the story that you're talking about. That blew I saw the video of that guy doing that. I was a young man when that happened. A guy, I'll explain a little bit. A guy was at a store. Somebody pointed a gun at them. The guy was a cop or something like that. He takes the gun, like real expert, like Bruce Lee stuff, just took it, but handed the gun right back to the guy. Went, oh no, took it again, and then handed it right back to him. He had to do it he had to disarm the guy like 3 times. So when I was a young man, I played football, and we trained. It was the practice is going to be like a game. We're going to move game speed. We're going to train the way we fight, which is what we do in the military. Because like you said, there's something about your brain, especially when that adrenaline, like this is war, this is life or death or whatever, where your front part of your brain is less active. That more like instinctive caveman thing is happening. So muscle memory comes into play. And that's what you're going to do. And I had a problem where a lot of guys, when I was training a while back, I think before I went to John Jocks, the inverted guard was a big thing. And they would do it when guys were standing up, and they would like be inverted. And I'm like, you just put your head right next to that guy's foot, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that guy plays soccer, he's about to hit a goal.
I know, and so but I mean, I've never been a judo practitioner, but it's my understanding that that's kind of what happened to judo. Judo came in and as a core art, and then as it became popular and got into the Olympics, they just started stripping away at a lot of what you could do for the sake of the game.
That's for wrestling too, from what I understand.
Yeah. See, so I just look at it like that. It's not on one hand, I think I I mean, I always study it because I think I used to compete like crazy. So even though I competed with guys closer to my age or at my age, there was always the occasional, older guy that loved inverting or playing the what I kind of refer to as the young man's game.
Yeah.
So you have to be, knowledgeable and aware of it.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's fun, but again, it's just kind of know its place. That's the way I look at it.